name is Usman. First and foremost, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present my extra credit assignment in front of you today. Today, I want to talk to you about CBS. What is CBS? What does CBS take you to? CBS takes you to cost control. And in entirety, I do want to talk to you about cost control and how and why it is one of the most crucial parts of the project itself. Here we go. So, cost control is extremely important, right? Why is it so important? Because you base the whole project around this. From the get-go, now I myself don't have too much experience, but listening to my peers and advisors and mentors, and also, Professor Rodman, you yourself, CBS and cost control is so entirely important. Why? Is because you are making your project budget. It is so insane because you define your budget as a team. You go to cost per quantity, how much unit of material, or as far as man hours, but like every single thing is broken down to a specific cost. And that's why I thought it would be really great and really cool for me to pick cost control, about how vital it is, how extremely important it is. Your cost control will measure your actual cost compared to the baseline, so like your actual cost up to date, so like 3 months down the line, you have a current budget. So how are you looking at to the baseline budget, what you guys decided to, or what inside the construction we call the actual budget and current budget. So it's really important because inside your cost control, you also do implement safety structures, and you also implement risk management for any risk management situations that may cause deviation towards the project itself. This takes us to our next slide. On our next slide, I want to talk to you about the project budget itself and why this is so important. The project budget is the amount of money you can spend before you dip in to your profit. Now, in entirety, that is the most important thing right there. As a GC or as a contractor, that's our bread and butter. We want to make sure that we make a project budget that is going to be well suitable for the owner, at the same time still profitable to us, at the same time coming up with a number that is appreciated by the owner and that is appreciated by us, that we can also go ahead and cover all of our expenditures and then come and bring in some money in return, revenue. So, as I was telling you before, you have the original budget, the current budget, right, and the budget at completion. The difference between the original budget and the current budget is that the original budget is the budget that you're going to make with your team from the get-go, for the project that you want to do. The current budget is the budget you have active to date. So say you're 7 months and 3 days in. Your current budget would be your budget 7 months and 3 days in, how far you are, where you are inside that budget. Now, what's really important to notice on this current budget is that throughout projects, you will get change orders. It may be from the owner, maybe from you yourself. You might find an easier way to get things done for a better price, or something might be a harder way to get things done, but it still may profit you as a company a little bit more, and the owner. You might want to look into that. So that's why you have the current budget, and the current budget always has change orders in place, and you want to make sure you keep that updated and accurate as possible so you can monitor that. This brings me to my next slide. Cost codes. Cost codes is one of the most crucial parts of planning, and this is why. So the cost code is an extremely important part of budgeting, because what it does is it allocates expenditure into appropriate categories. So you're probably thinking that is CBS. So yes, this is actually what breaks taking you down into CBS. Now, so really important thing about cost code is that right over here, you're gonna see labor, material, equipment, subcontractor, tools. Now, why it's so very important to keep a monitor on cost controls is because you wanna see where exactly your money is going. I'm talking about for the project. You wanna keep a monitor of that, because if you're not keeping a track of this, subcontractor brings 3 times the load of his actual load, or like one of your vendors bringing 3 times the load of its actual load, and the subcontractor doesn't say anything. If anything, it takes it to subcontractor could end up keeping it, or whatever the subcontractor orders. If we don't look at it thoroughly, we don't come with cost code, those little things will add up to our project budget, and that's what we don't want. That's why it's very, very important to monitor these separately and to keep an eye on all of them. So like I said, labor, material, equipment, subcontractor, and tools. So this cost code, I think, is a very, very intricate part of our work industry, only because low-level tasks required, low-level tasks, all of them, low-level to the high-level tasks, they all require a type of work. What this will do for you, depending on who it is or what it is, it will go ahead and separate that for you. This also takes you to production rate. This will also go ahead and tell you how much you're producing in correlation to the budget. So that's what's really, really great. Next thing up, you have the CBS. One great thing about the CBS that I really enjoyed myself was that even when I worked at Hewitt and I was an intern, they would definitely make sure that when I'm clocking in, I'm clocking out, that I'm under the correct CBS. I could not be under the estimating department. I could not be under the field department. I would have to be under TIC, the industrial company, and right underneath the internship little portion that they have for me and the other 3 interns. And you had to use that exact CBS number. And being in this class, I was a little confused about that, but now I see the big picture and how everything goes down to the very little T and why that matters so much. CBS, it's a deconstruction of estimating to individual task and groups of individual task and group of tasks for the creation of the budget. For example, project teams may develop a plan to do a task in entirety in a whole different way, right? Than the estimators that must have planned it. So it would require a cost to be shifted from the different cost codes, which would in return make the estimate look off. You don't want that. So that's why you want to make sure that you're monitoring these cost codes, you're monitoring what's going on, and you keep an account of how your CBS is looking like throughout this whole time. Bring me to my next slide. Monitoring cost. Like I was saying, monitoring cost is extremely important. A great way to monitor costs is going to be job cost reports that you get from the GC. Schedule updates should correlate and reflect budget update, so there's no discrepancies. I cannot stress how important that is. Basically, what that means is that any schedule updates need to be put into the actual budgets as current updates as well, budget updates, so you know where you are standing in your budget. Monitoring actual production rate as well as actual costs, a little bit what I was telling you on the last slide. Lastly, bring us to contingencies. We all know why this is so important. It basically sets the amount, it puts a set amount to the budget just in case there are any unforeseen circumstances that you cannot control. It's a great risk management tool, and there's 3 types of contingencies. I thought it would be really worthy to note these on here. They're going to be construction contingency, owner's contingency, and contractor's contingency. That right there is going to be my presentation to you for cost control. Professor Radharan, thank you so much for your time this semester, and thank you so much for your time to go ahead and watch this video and conduct this extra credit assignment for me. I really hope you liked what I had to say, and I really enjoyed my time in your class. If there's anything else that you need from me, please do let me know.